Hi, this is Ollie at Oxford Online English. In this lesson, you can learn how to write an answer for task 1 of the academic IELTS writing exam. Now, this video is a little bit different from other videos we've made. I don't have a script. I haven't prepared anything except the question. I'm going to write an answer to this question in real time and under exam conditions. So I'm going to set myself a 20-minute time limit. As I write, I'm also going to talk to you to explain what I'm thinking about or what I'm doing or what problems I'm having. I'm going to leave everything in there. So we have our question. Let's start the clock. 20 minutes, that's not long. This is going to be high pressure. Let's hope I can do it. Right, so we've got two pie charts. Let's read this part. The two charts show the reasons why people are traveling through a major international airport in 2 different months of the year. Right, everything else is the same in every task 1. We don't need to read it. Let's look at the charts. So we've got 5 different reasons and 2 different months. Going on vacation, that's this big blue one here. This orange is visiting family or friends. The grey is traveling for work or business. This one, the yellowish one, is transit to another destination. And then the light blue slice is other reasons. Now, in task 1, you're presented with a lot of information. You need to find a way to group and connect the information. That's quite important. It's tempting just to try to list every piece of data you're given, but that won't get you the highest scores. Especially in a question like this where you have 2 charts, it's really important that you find a way to group and connect the information. You also need to make a plan. I'm going to do that now. So paragraph 1, let me think. So I think I'm going to go with a 2-paragraph piece of writing, and I think I'm going to talk about similarities in paragraph 1 and then differences in paragraph 2. So let's think about similarities. Fairly obviously, vacation is the most popular reason for traveling in both months. What else is similar? Visiting family or friends is about the same in both charts. It's around 25%. That's pretty similar. And then other similarities, the 2 smallest reasons are the same, other and transit to another destination. They're both pretty small in both pie charts. So that's another similarity. I think that's all I can say there. Now, obviously, if paragraph 1 is similarities, then paragraph number 2 is going to be differences. So for differences, what can I talk about? Well, obviously, although vacation is the most popular, there are more people going on vacation in June. I think the biggest difference is that you can see there are way fewer people traveling for work or business in June. Also, what else is different? Well, transit as a reason is slightly bigger in June. It's not a big difference, but it is a difference. So I think that's a decent plan. That gives me both paragraphs have a clear focus. Paragraph 1 is talking about similarities. Paragraph 2 is talking about differences. And in each paragraph, I've got 3 points, which is about right. 3 points that I can mention. Now, generally, when I write or when I have, I don't know, an exam or something, I would plan in my head. I never really make written plans. I'm just doing it here so that you guys can see everything. And if you prefer to plan in your head, that's fine. But you do need a plan. If you start writing without a plan, your writing will not be organized. There's a very low chance that you can get a good score if you don't plan. So you can plan in your head, you can plan on the paper, but whatever you do, you need to do something. Okay, I'm going to scroll down so you can see what I'm doing. If you get annoyed by me jumping around in the document, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger as well. If you don't want to see me jumping around, there's a link underneath the video on YouTube. You can see the full lesson on our website, and there you can see the full question and answer all in one place. Okay, so let's write. I need to start with an overview. An overview just to summarize the information in the charts. So, oops. Okay. Well, let's say which months they are. Okay. That's very basic, but that's fine. The overview is not really important. Just writing something basic is all right. You don't need to do more than that. So my first paragraph is similarities. I need to start with a topic sentence which clearly shows what the main focus of my paragraph is. So I need to talk about similarities. Let's add an adjective there. Significant. That's good. Significant similarities. Shown, represented. I think shown is better. Okay, so that's a good topic sentence. It shows clearly what I'm going to be talking about in this paragraph. Now I need to go on and add some specific ideas to this. So I'm just going to follow my plan and talk about vacation first. Okay. Now I'm not adding specific figures yet because I'm going to do that much more in paragraph 2 when I talk about differences. And this is a good general approach for task 1 of the academic IELTS writing exam. Start general and get more specific as you write. I think I will probably include some data in this paragraph, but I'm starting with more general points and then continuing to more specific points, and that's a good structure to follow in general. All right, what am I talking about now? Visiting family and friends. Okay, right. I think I should put the figure here. Okay, just one thing to notice here. It's very important that if you can't read the data exactly, you need to make it clear that your data is not precise. I mean, if you say 25% and you don't add anything like around or about or anything like that, then you mean exactly 25%. But looking at these pie charts, you can't really see, you don't know for sure what the percentages are because you don't know for sure what the percentages are because there's no scale, there's nothing to tell you the exact numbers. That means it's important to add some kind of approximating language like around, about, etc. Okay. Right, I keep getting distracted and I really don't have much time for this task, so I need to keep going. What else am I talking about? Transit or other. All right. Okay, how do I make this more specific? Let's have a look. Transiting and other, so it's hard to say. What's that, like 5 to 10%? Oh, well, that's kind of cheating. I can't really use that, even though I made the charts, but you don't have that option in the exam, so I won't use it. So it looks to me like each one is maybe 5%. Certainly if this is a quarter, they're under 15% combined, so maybe I can use that to compare them. How am I going to put that? Which okay, I think that's all right. Let's just do a quick word count check. That's 90 words, so that's good. I've written about half of it, and I've written over half of the words which I need to. All right, so let's start paragraph 2. I'm talking about differences. Again, I need to start with a topic sentence. I need to make it clear what the focus of my paragraph is so that the examiner understands immediately, okay, this person has a plan for this paragraph and this is their plan. Very important. So I'll put a linking phrase on the other hand because I'm changing direction. I'm changing to talk about something completely different. On the other hand, all right. Oh no, I said data before. I was going to say pattern. I'm not sure I like the word pattern. But okay, I'm just going to go with pattern for now. Pattern in June is what? Is... I don't like this sentence very much. It feels kind of clunky. But it's... Alright, it's okay. And it's a good IELTS sentence because it's a different kind of structure and I'm using varied language. So, okay, it's good for IELTS even though I don't like it. Right, so now I need to go through my plan again and make my specific points. And like I said, I'm going to be putting more specific details and numbers in this paragraph compared to the first one. Let's do a quick time check. I've got 9 minutes. Okay, hurry up. Right, vacations. What am I going to say about vacations? Well, I guess the obvious point to make is that it's over half in June and it's under half in December. So that's the obvious point. Let's use the obvious point. Well, okay. I'll vary vacation versus holiday. Right, put some numbers in. Again, remember to hedge or use approximating language if you're not 100% sure of the figures. Accuracy matters in task 1. Being accurate with the data is important. If you make mistakes with accuracy, it will hurt your task achievement score. And in particular, if you make many mistakes with accuracy or if you make significant mistakes with the data, that limits your task achievement score to 6, which obviously makes it very, very difficult to get any kind of higher score. Right, over half of all respondents were going on holiday in June, around 60%. Is that better? I don't know. Again, I don't like it, but I don't like this style of writing. That's the problem. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Right, what's next? All right, traveling for work or business. Many fewer people are traveling for work or business. So yeah, that's probably the biggest difference. It's like a quarter in December versus maybe 10% in June. So I've got to mention that. Another major difference. Did I said major difference? Yes, okay, I need another word. Not major, key. Another key difference. I should be consistent. Also, be consistent in your tenses. If you're talking in the present or the past, you should be consistent with that. Often both are possible, but you shouldn't mix them. Having said that, I notice now that I wrote here is and are. So I've been writing in the present, so I should keep it in the present. I'm just going to check that actually now. And I'm going to change... Actually, I think it makes sense for this to keep it all in the past. So I've got was there, that's past, were traveling, past, were transit, were, okay, that's good, constituted. The pattern in June, I think that should be present actually, but I'm going to change this to past. Okay, so I'm going to write in the past. That's an important point. Be consistent with your tenses, whatever you choose to do. Okay, another key difference was in the number of people traveling. This, by the way, is a very good way to add figures. It's very easy, just adding figures in brackets or parentheses to be more precise. It's easy, and it allows you to keep your sentences under control, because otherwise, if you need to include a lot of data and you're trying to put it all in full sentences, it can get you get some very long, complicated, not in a good way, sentences which are very difficult to write. So this is a good trick, although obviously, like anything, you shouldn't overuse it. How long have I got? 4 minutes. Okay, I need really one more sentence. I need to talk about the fact that transit is slightly bigger in June, and then I need a couple of minutes to check. So, yeah, so transit is a minor reason in both months, but in June it's just slightly bigger, maybe, I don't know, 10% as against 5% or something like that. Okay. Okay, I just need to finish this. Against, yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, now at this point I think I'm basically done. I've covered everything in my plan. I've written 211 words, which is, if anything, slightly long, but that's not a big problem. It's not a problem. I've got 2.5 minutes left. Now I'm just going to look through and see if I can improve anything. So, okay, let's change said to reported. Reported that they were in transit. That's a slightly, instead of using a more generic word like said, using a more specific word like report is good for your vocabulary score. The one thing I do notice is that I've used a lot of around. I wouldn't say it's a huge problem, but the thing is there aren't so many things you can use here. I used approximately, I used about. Let's put another about in there, because I don't think I've used that so much. I already got this here, 10% or so. That's something different, but that's more idiomatic. I wouldn't want to use that more than once in a piece of writing. Let's see, what else can I improve? I'm feeling the pressure here. I really don't have much time. Let's make this a little bit more specific. So, because the question was about people at the airport, so it's obviously about traveling by air. That's just slightly more specific. It's not about traveling generally. It's specifically about air travel. Okay, similarity in both months. Yeah. So I'm just looking through for things, perhaps vocabulary that can be improved, or repetition that I can avoid. Again, maybe I could make this because it's not really two separate surveys. I was trying to avoid saying both months again. I'm going to leave it for now. I think it could be improved, but I don't have a better idea right now, and it's okay. We're transiting and other. Okay. Now, sorry, I'm distracted because I'm trying to check. Okay, time's up. That's it. That's all I can do. So let's now take another look at this answer. One point there is that you should try to leave at least 1 or 2 minutes for checking at the end. You might find some mistakes. You might find some repetition which you can change. You might find 1 or 2 pieces of vocabulary that you can improve, perhaps by replacing a more generic word with something more specific or interesting. I know that time is very tight in task 1. I just experienced that for myself. I can see that very, very well. But even so, 1 or 2 minutes can make a difference. Even if you can just make 2 or 3 changes to your writing, that could make a difference to your score, potentially. So do try to do that. So let's take a look through this answer. The one thing I was thinking about as I was writing was just using a range of language to talk about comparatives and to compare the data between the 2 charts. So in a question like this, you're given 2 moments in time. Each chart has 5 pieces of data. That makes 10 total. So obviously you need to do a lot of comparing and linking, and it would be very easy, I think, to get repetitive there. So I did try to use a range of language there. It was something I was thinking about, and I'll show you a few of the things I mean. So things like this, by far the most popular reason, just adding an adverb like by far there makes this a little bit more interesting. It makes it stand out to the examiner. It's not just a straight superlative like the most popular. I'm adding something to it. We've got here, okay, the least important reasons. It's not particularly complex language, but at the same time, most English learners would use more and most very comfortably. But it's quite rare that I see students use less and least in their writing. So I think it's worth mentioning. What else? Okay, again, notably different, just using an adverb to make it a bit more descriptive. That's the kind of thing the examiner will notice. What else? Yes, okay, far fewer people. So that's another phrase. Again, just using an adverb like slightly more people. And then at the end, I use this against to compare 2 figures, 5% against 10%. Now you can't use that everywhere, but it's quite useful if you're comparing 2 figures. So this is one thing from my answer which might be useful for you, just using a range of language, especially in this type of question. Make sure you use a range of language for comparatives, and if you don't know some useful phrases, that's the kind of thing where you can easily learn some phrases beforehand. In task 1, there are only so many types of question, and I think it's quite possible to prepare for them by learning key phrases or keywords. Another point, you saw where I corrected myself on this, where I wanted to say another major difference, and I'd already used it here. Now this, again, is the kind of thing the examiner's really going to notice. For your vocabulary score, collocation is really important. It's not just about knowing fancy words or knowing academic words. That's not so important. It's about using the vocabulary you know and combining the words you know with flexibility and with precision, that's how you get high scores. So being able to use different collocations accurately in this way, that's something that will really help your score. Okay, what else? So let's just review quickly. In terms of task achievement, I think this definitely covers everything. It covers all of the data from the charts. I haven't listed every single figure, but I have included every single piece of data in some way. So that would, I think, get me a high score for task achievement. I haven't left anything out. I've also given examples and data where necessary. I've supported my ideas, so that's also important for task achievement. For coherence and cohesion, I've organized my writing into two very clear paragraphs. I've got an overview at the beginning, and each paragraph has a topic sentence which clearly shows what the paragraph is going to be about, and then everything else in the paragraph is simply adding detail to that topic sentence. For paragraph 2, I've also got this linking phrase to show that I'm changing direction, and that's also important for your coherence and cohesion score. Vocabulary, we talked about things like these collocations or this varied language for comparing things. These are things that will help your vocabulary score. And I think for both vocabulary and grammar, I would hope I don't have any mistakes, which is obviously important for getting a top score. Okay, so I think let's finish there. Good luck if you have an IELTS exam coming up soon. I hope this lesson was useful for you, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.